Food. It's something that you need to trust. You know, for a lot of us, food can be a safety net. Feeling depressed? Eat a jar of M&Ms. Sitting on the couch watching a movie? Eat a jar of M&Ms. On a long road trip? Drink some Mountain Dew. The truth is, when we buy our food, we expect it to be clean, tasty, untampered with, but
that's not always the case.
Sometimes dark things can happen to our food and to our drinks, and sometimes it can be downright evil. And speaking of Mountain Dew, since I brought it up in that whole feeling depressed, blah blah blah, on a road trip, drink Mountain Dew, whatever. Since I did that bit, this is what actually started it all. My wife brought up the fact that she was disgusted by Mountain Dew because she had heard this fact. And this is what kind of led me down this rabbit hole of things left in food or found in food that really are quite disturbing. An Illinois man who found a mouse in his Mountain Dew took Pepsi to court for encouraging him to drink carbonated vermin. The beverage giant disputed the claim, saying that if a mouse had, in fact, been in the can, the dew would have dissolved into a jelly-like substance. I once hailed from Illinois, and there's some good people there, and there's some dirty, rotten liars there. But that is disgusting to hear the company say, we know you're lying, because our drink would have dissolved that vermin, and you would have had a sludge to drink, not just a soda that tastes a little off, or a full mouse in there. So that's kind of scary that we put that type of drink in our bodies. But that's not the end of the story for the Pepsi company. The flavor of Fred's Pepsi was rank. The texture was slimy and thick. So, the Ormond Beach, Florida resident said he shook out the contents and something resembling pink linguine slid out, followed by dark stuff. Poison Control and the FDA were contacted, and the can's contents were analyzed. The Food and Drug Administration Office of Regulatory Affairs concluded the foreign matter appeared to be a frog or a toad. Slimy, yet tangy. He just pours it out and there's pink linguine and black sludge that comes out, which I'm guessing the pink linguine must have been maybe the frog's innards that came out. I don't know. That's kind of crazy. Did he sue? Did he get a lifetime of free Pepsi or something like that? Or a certificate saying, sorry dude? But even Costco isn't safe on this weird adventure on. It even has a dark spot in the world of having things in their food that shouldn't be there. You know that delicious $1.50, I believe it's still $1.50, hot dog and soda combo that you can get at Costco? You walk up there, poor as can be, and you're just like, I can actually afford this hot dog and soda. 2004, California resident Olivia Chains had taken a break from shopping to grab a hot dog from the Costco snack bar. As she noshed, she bit down on something hard. It was a live 9mm bullet. That was only the first shot. When she later experienced abdominal pains, she went to the hospital, where doctors found that she'd swallowed an additional live bullet from the Frank. Or in other words, the hot dog, if you don't know what a Frank is. I don't know. I'm not trying to be rude. I just don't know if... Not many people call them Franks anymore. A weenie? A hot dog? A Frank? I mean, how do you think the bullets got in there? I'm pretty sure that's the first question that anybody would ask is, where did these bullets come from? where'd you come from? Where'd you go? Where'd you come from? Cotton Eye Joe. But I don't know how those bullets got in there because it's not like Costco's really dealing in ammo. I've been to Costco, a couple different Costco's, several times. Never once have I seen a box of ammo, especially 9mm ammo, just chilling. So it either has to come from the plant or it has to come from somebody. That's their stash of live ammunition that they're hiding is in the hot dogs. And you have to be like seriously scarfing down your Frank, your dog, your weenie to be able to not detect the first bullet, because I am chewing my food. I mean, yeah, I think you're supposed to chew it like 20, 30 times. I don't know how much per bite you're supposed to chew. Put it right here. I take the time at least to check through my food to detect items. I'm not just swallowing hot dogs whole. I'm not just swallowing all this stuff carefree. There's too many risks to be able to do that. First of all, you can choke on the dog. But also, apparently you can choke on a bullet. Either way, not something you want in your dog. Up next, have you ever enjoyed a delicious candy bar?
A Milky Way and a friend, good things that never end.
Failing my class. No grades, no football. You can't do this to yourself. You have to try a little harder.
Milky Way, helping you.
I'm gonna give it my best shot.
Through your day.
A woman from Brownsboro, Texas, will never forget that candy bars are bad for teeth. In 2010, she bit into a Milky Way and found a human tooth in her mouth that did not belong to her. Even though this is slightly more disturbing than a bullet, because, it's a human tooth and it obviously doesn't have its place in a delicious candy bar. The truth is, I really don't find this very disturbing because I've had my own run-in with something like this before, and there's like so many possibilities of this happening. But with this tooth, it's actually a little more explainable than a bullet, because there's so many people out there that have fake teeth. They have dentures or whatever, or maybe they're older and they might have some loose teeth or something like that. I doubt there's a child working there that's, well, you know what? Big candy bar could have some children working underneath it. Some kids losing their teeth, getting their adult teeth, working on those candy bars, mixing those mixtures, baking them, whatever they do with the candy bars there, I don't know. But the reality is, somebody was probably making the batches of candy bars or the wrapping process, and one of their false teeth fell out of their mouth into the bar, or into the concoction, whatever you want to call it, and got shipped out. Disgusting, but worse things can happen, I guess, as you're about to see. Ice cream. Delicious. Cold. Creamy. Full of fecal matter. The article that I'm reading this from, they named this one specifically Swirls One Cup. In 2008, Australian Government Food Minister Ian McDonald confirmed that frozen fecal matter had been found in a chocolate gelato offered to patrons of a Sydney pub after they complained about the noise level. As you might expect, customers Steve and Jessica White became violently ill after eating it. This seems like more of a on-purpose thing, like you were targeting people or you were about to quit your job because you really hated your boss. Because that's more of one of those things where something to end up from your south mouth to a mouth, it's got some hatred behind it. Maybe it was a bet or a dare, I have no idea, but most likely not. because this is a very dangerous game to play. Playing with your own fecal matter and churning it within the wheels of an ice cream maker. So yeah, you will definitely become deathly ill. And at this point, I'm betting you're thinking, wow, how can it get any worse? How can we go from rats, frogs, bullets, teeth, poop? How could it get worse? And I'm going to tell you, it can get worse. And it's about to, with these next 4 disgusting items. According to ABC News, a woman in Virginia sued McDonald's for $100,000 after finding a chicken head in a box of wings in 2000. She was bringing the chicken head to her mouth when her 8-year-old son screamed at her not to eat it. The manager offered 2 weeks of free meals, but understandably, she decided to hold out. And of course, McDonald's is involved in this. I mean, how could you not? So many franchises, or whatever you want to call them, across the United States, across the world. They're not going to be free of temperament or disgustingness. But to be so, like, tunnel visioned into just eating your food, you're just like, and you're not even looking. You're just like picking up out of the little cardboard box, and you're just picking it up. You didn't even look while you opened your sauce either. You just ripped it open. You just threw the little tab thing that's on top of it. You just kind of threw it, and it stuck to the wall or to the ground. What you commonly see within a McDonald's anyway. Or you should just like took it and stuck it underneath the table like a piece of gum. And she didn't even look. Her kid's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, Mom. And that's a chicken's head. But how about this? You're like, hey, manager, found a chicken head in your food. This is your responsibility. This is your store. What are you going to do about it? And they're like, well, this is a sad moment for you. This is a dark moment in this franchise. We're sorry. How about 2 weeks? Free meals. Maybe a year. You know what? A year. A year would be a good compensation. And I would be like very specific. A meal a day. You know, that's 365 meals. That's fair. Chicken head in your meal. 365 free meals. 1 a day. Fair compensation. Not like 2 weeks of... Because, you know, there's always going to be like those workers that come in, they're like, because you're going to be like, hey, I got this meal for free because of a situation that happened. And you know the worker's going to be like, well, I don't know anything about that. I got to talk to my manager. There's going to be the whole runaround. They're probably going to make you pay for it. And they're going to then eventually going to be like, well, then we can reimburse you. That type of stuff. Just probably what they should do is take your picture, put it on the wall and say, free meals for a year, this person. No confusion. Get your free meal. That's justice, in my opinion. Then we move on. In the fast food world, to Arby's. You know, we got curly fries, tasty, roast beef sandwiches, cheddar, slices of skin. A Florida man ordered a sandwich from an Arby's restaurant and found a large slice of bloody skin under the bun. An investigation revealed that the restaurant's manager had been slicing lettuce when he accidentally sliced off a big chunk of his finger too. After he tended to his injury, he neglected to throw out the lettuce and served it with the piece of skin still inside. Like, I get it. Take care of yourself. Make sure you're good. You don't want to, keep bleeding on things after you cut off a slice of your chunk or hunk of your skin. Dealing with other people's food would dictate that maybe the thing that you're cutting should be thrown out because your blood's all up inside of it. Not just that, but a hunk of skin. I don't know what this guy got for, like, in compensation for having that bloody skin in his food. But what would happen for me is I would never go back to Arby's. Hey, if you cut off some skin or a finger or something like that, or if your toenail goes into your food or something, throw out that batch. It's okay. We'll lose the $5 on this food, and we'll gain it back within like 2 minutes. So, no big deal. Just make sure that doesn't happen again. And don't we all love toppings in our ice cream? You know, our custard, whatever it is, gelato. Don't you like a little bit of toppings? Some, you know, syrup, some M&Ms, some Reese's, maybe some cookie dough. You know, spice up your world. Make things fun. In 2005, North Carolina resident Clarence Stowers was tucking into a container of Kohl's frozen custard when he encountered a severed finger. Officials said that the digit had recently been attached to a worker injured in a food processing machine accident. USA Today reported that Stowers put the finger in his mouth, thinking it was a piece of candy. I don't know what piece of candy he necessarily thought it was, but I wonder how much it like really threw him off, because he like did he like spoon it into his mouth and then go, wait, that would ruin my relationship with custard. I don't think I could ever bounce back from that. You know, after you ate something, you ate a big meal, something, one of your favorite foods maybe, and then you throw it up and you just can't eat it, maybe never again, but most likely it's just for a while. That would be the same experience with finding a finger in your favorite ice cream or whatever, and just thinking it was a topping. This isn't Oreos, and you're just like, it didn't crunch like Oreos. Like the heartbreak that this person must have felt. And lastly, I've saved the most disgusting one for last. Because, you know, that's how lists work. You know, you go from kind of gross to just full out, like, you'll never think of this food the same again. In 2009, German tourist Axel Sands Claus ordered a $40 filet mignon at the Bull and Bear restaurant in New York's Waldorf Astoria Hotel. He claims that he took a bite of his meat and wound up with a bloody tampon in his mouth. Santa Claus rinsed his mouth out with brandy and headed to the nearest hospital, where a doctor confirmed that his discovery was indeed a used tampon and recommended that he be tested for blood-borne diseases. There's no accident here. This was a deliberate prank. This was a deliberate move of hatred. This was downright, like, this was evil. Like, this was just like murder in a way. Just cutting into a steak, just cutting, and he's like, glad I ordered this as rare as possible. He's just cutting away. He's like, a little more blood than I was hoping for, but you know what? Just go for it. And he just sticks it in there. It's not like a steak is like got crevices that you really stick that type of stuff in. So somebody must have snuck a tampon underneath the steak. That shows you how deliberate this is, because that doesn't really work out the same as, you know, a hot dog, where it's kind of a processed food that's kind of ground up and then kind of reformed into a casing of a food, or a candy bar or anything like that. So yeah, you can find a tooth, you can find a chicken head, you can find a bullet, you can find a dead frog, you can find excrement, you can find tampon, used tampon in your food. You can find all these stuff. It makes you kind of no longer trust the things that you want to like lose yourself in. You want to find comfort in it. You can't, because it's just like, what if this happens to me? You know? You always hear horror stories like this and you don't think like, it'll never happen to me. But it could. So keep an eye open. Take bites of your food. Don't just swallow it whole. Like, look at what you're eating. Smell it sometimes, because I'm sure if you got some poop in there, you're going to be able to smell it. And if you have a chicken head in there and your 8-year-old can see it and you can't, maybe there's a problem. Maybe you're disconnected from the world. I don't know. But anyway, good luck out there.